Okay, so we're going to launch the Data Migration Assistant. And we go to Onsystex, Data Migration Assistant. And now we're going to begin the normalization process. The first thing we need to do is establish the data sources. We have defined one called as DBI demo. And the data source type, which could be any of the supported databases. And the ODBC DSN name, which has been previously defined using the control panel administration utility for ODBC settings. So once that's established, you just enter the host name and the target database that you're going to be using, and the owner and password and port 1433. You test it, make sure that the connection is successful, save it, and then you can go ahead and click on accept, and that is the one that we'll be using by default. So now we double click on the OSS Explorer, and now we have to add the databases that we're going to be using with the Data Migration Assistant. So very similar to the PDP tool, we add or remove accounts. And in this case, we don't see DBI demo, so we're going to add it by path. So we're going to enter the path, C:\design base data dbi.demo. Click on accept. And now click on accept again. And now we should see that account refresh on the on DBI demo tree branch. So here are the files. So we're going to begin the normalization process with DB client. So we click on DB client, and now we see all the different all the dictionaries for DB for DB client. And this is where we can change them, modify them, change the typing, etc. if you wish. Obviously, any type of a association will also be displayed here. That will give you some indication on how that file is going to be normalized, with a parent table and several subtables depending on the number of associations that you have. So the next step would be to right-click and then go through the analysis to validate that these definitions are correct. We click on Go, and it is going to give us the results of the examination process. So it detects the multi-values, the associations. It looks at the lengths, and then it provides some suggestions as far as the lengths that should be used for the columns. Click on Save. And we're going to override the schema if it existed. And now, again, we can make any change, any adjustments that we like at this point. Or we can just go ahead and go through the normalization process. So, one of the things that we need to do, which we forgot to do previously, so we're going to close this. I'm going to go through the mappings process. We need to tell her what is the SQL data source that we want to go after. So where are we migrating this data to? So we select DBI demo, and notice that all the SQL types have been displayed. We save it. So the schema has been saved, and now we can go ahead and normalize. Notice that in this case we have several associations, right? So for the sake of argument here, for testing, we're going to go ahead and make this one a separate MVD, a separate association, and we're going to call it ADDR. Right. So then we accept. So now we have, two associations. We save it, and now we go ahead and do a right-click, and we go through the normalization process. So we do want to normalize multi-values. Table detail tables, DBI demo, create SQL, confirm the action. Obviously, if you have a schema, this will wipe it out, and then it will recreate a new one. All right, a couple of things that happen here. Notice that the DB client moved from the local to DB client, and also that means that the pointer has actually changed. So this is an empty table. So now what you need to do is import the data, or export it from OASIS into SQL. So we can do that with this export to SQL table command, and as you can see, we have a primary table and two subtables. So we're going to go ahead and do the export process, and those are the records. And let's take a look behind the scenes and see what actually happened in the Oasis, from the Oasis perspective. So we'll go back to our console, and we log to dbi.demo. Actually, we do C:, design base data dbi.demo. Okay, and we look at the pointer of DB client, and notice that it has changed to SQL, right? So if we do count DB client, list DB client, all that data is actually out there in SQL Server. So if we do a change, and then we're going to call this to Mario, and we file it. Okay, now, now we can go into SQL Server and check it out. So we're going to launch our SQL Server Management Studio, connect to the instance. There's my Oasis database that I was using, and here's my clients. Select top 100 rows, and it's actually DB client. And there it is, there I am. So, and I can also do this. I can edit the top 200 rows. And then let's change this to John Doe. And we can commit this change. Oh, sorry. Enter, and the change is committed. Now we can go back and edit that record, and there it is. Notice that all the multi-values are there, and if you add anything to it, let's add like a let's see if there's an address, and then let's add this street. Right. So now we file it, and now if we go back here to this table, we can select the top 1,000 rows, and there it is. It's a change. It actually created and maintained the integrity, and that's it. So you're ready to go. Notice that the pointer is set up as SQL, but pretty much everything in the environment works exactly the way it should. No changes, seamless integration with SQL. So that's it for now.